Superintendent of Schools, Donna Miller. We also have with us Mr. T and Mrs. Gaston, and of course, Mrs. Bjorn, who is just a tech wizard, and she's going to help us walk through the process of logging in to Google Classroom and answer any questions that you might have. Our goal for tonight is to just simply familiarize you with the technology platform being used to deliver modules. And our goal for this week is very simple. It's just to create a comfort level with distance learning when we're using these digital resources. This is very new for everybody, and we want to make sure that both parents and students feel comfortable and at ease as you get started with a new way of learning. We're kind of calling this a soft launch, like you would have when you're starting a new business. It's just a big opportunity to begin slowly and monitor how the system's working, and that way we can adjust as needed. So we will definitely be looking for feedback from you, what's working, what doesn't work, suggestions for improvement that you might have. You also need to know that additional supports will be available in the upcoming days, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. T so he can describe some of those things for you.
Yes, hello everybody. We are very much excited about this endeavor and know that it's going to be very tough for everybody. So as Mrs. Miller had mentioned, tonight we're doing a live session on how to access Google Classroom. And many parents have already logged in and tried out a lot of the things that they have access to. And we've already troubleshot some of the features that we've had, and some of those things are still coming in. So the ways that we have to help, obviously, number one is the teacher. So what we're asking all parents to do is basically email the teachers when they have problems, and they can kind of channel them down the right pathway, whether it's technological and an IT thing, or if it's educational. Mrs. Gaston and myself are managing all of those processes, so we're always here to help as well. We're trying to open up the communication in a lot of different ways. We have my email blast, we have the dojo, we have the district Facebook page, we have the district website, and we're doing all calls. So there's lots of ways that we're getting our messages out. And as Mrs. Miller said, we know that this is going to be very difficult for a lot of the parents at home because of work schedules and the lack of connectivity and how strong it is. So to compensate for that, most of our assignments, we're going to give a week's period to do. So when you're logging in, if things are not working, there's plenty of time to get that worked out. And all the assignments that we are doing this week, you know, they're all trial. We're getting in there to see what works, what doesn't work. The teachers have some fun things in there. So we're really excited to see what we can do and hope that we can grow from that. But just know that when you have problems, email the teacher, email me. You can call the school. We have people there from 9 to 12 that are actually answering. And then, you know, pretty much most from like 8 in the morning till late at night, there are people that are there to try to respond to your requests. So we do ask that you're patient, especially if it's a technological one. That's something that sometimes we're a little limited. The teachers can really help with maybe the Google Classroom, but if it gets real techie, so to speak, you know, that's something that you may have to wait a little while to get, because there's only certain people that have that skill set. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to do some more of these to maybe teach you about some of the other programs we're going to be using. Mrs. Gaston, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I just want to say that Mr. T and I are going to be here for you. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to call us, email us. We're always on alert, even in the evenings.
Okay, Mrs. Bjorn, are you ready?
Sure am. All right, hello everyone. I just wanted to give a quick thank you for everybody's patience. I know technology can be difficult at times, and especially with everybody needing it right now, there's going to definitely be a lot of glitches going on. So if there's ever a time where something's not working, take some time, walk away from it for a bit. There's a good chance that sites are crashing at this time. Also, make sure you're checking Class Dojo. That's going to be our main communication. And then Google Classrooms is going to be where you're going to find all your student assignments. So you might be wondering who I am. I know not everybody knows who I am. I am a second grade teacher here at Elk Valley. I've been in the district for 13 years. You may know me as Miss Mack when I taught 5th grade. I've taught kindergarten, 1st, and I'm currently in 2nd grade. You might be asking, why me? I've always had a love for technology. I also have my master's degree in educational media and design. So this is kind of where my happy place is online. So I'm just trying to help out. We'll see what we can do tonight. So I'm going to start out. I am on my Mac. So if you're on a PC, you will want to find Google, which I always tell the kids, it looks kind of like a Pokemon ball. So when you click on that, if you're in Google, it should just automatically pop up with Google. If it doesn't, you come to your main toolbar and you just simply have to type in google.com. From there, it's really important that you're paying attention to who is logged in. So right now you can see I'm logged in as Mrs. Bjorn under my account. I don't want to be Mrs. Bjorn, I want to be a student. So I would want to click on this picture and I want to sign out. Okay. If this is your child's first time logging in, we're going to need to sign in and we're going to need to click on use another account. Okay, so you might already be signed in, but it's really important that they're on their account, especially if there's siblings using the same ones. You're going to use this a couple of times, making sure they each have their own account. So again, I clicked on the little picture in the top right-hand corner. It could just be a circle at that point. And I logged out of whoever was on, and I'm going to add my account. Okay, so I have my first name dot last name, and then it's the year that your student would graduate. So all of our second graders have a 30 after it. Again, that's your first name dot last name with the year that you're graduating. So again, my second graders would be a 30. And we are at gerardsd.org. Okay, so there's a good chance that your teachers already sent you that information. We can go to next. From here, you need to enter your password. This is your student ID number. So again, your teacher should have sent this to you either email or on Class Dojo. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my password and I'm going to click next. I'm not going to save this password because it's just an example, but if you'd like to, you're more than welcome to save that password so you don't have to type it in every time. So from here, you can now see Google. You can see up here that my picture has changed. So it's now just the first initial of the student. To be able to get to Google Classrooms, we want to go up to the little waffle. Okay, so top right-hand corner, the waffle. We can click on it, and you can see where it says Classroom. We want to click on Classroom. There are two different options here. Your teacher may have already added you to your classroom. If that's the case, it's going to show up here and we can click join. If this is your first time, you might get prompted to ask if you're a student or a teacher. Now I'm going to go back for just a second here because you might be asking, there is nothing showing here. Okay, maybe your teacher gave you a class code, or when we are looking at adding our special teachers, we need to add them separately. So I can come up here to the plus, and then we're going to have a class code. And everyone's going to have the same class code for specials, and your teachers will be sharing this with you. So if you don't get that, that's okay. So it's 3S6WNMI, and then I'm going to join. It takes a moment. So again, technology, we have to wait. And you can see now that you're also added to the specials. So you will want to do that as well. To get back to my classes, I click, we call this the little hamburger over here on the left side. We're going to click on that, and now you can see the classes that you're in, or I can go back to that main screen. Let's go to the classroom. This is very close to what it's going to look like the first time that you log in. So when we get in here, everyone in the elementary school, pre-K to 4th grade, will look very similar, okay? You're going to have this stream. This is what opens up every time. And to me, it can look a little bogged down at times, but the most thing that you want to look for is anytime there's a message from your teacher. You also might notice that your teacher isn't the only one showing up here. Our grade levels are helping each other out, and we're working really hard to keep everything the same within the grade levels. So you might see that one of the other teachers have posted. So for example, with my 2nd grade class, there might also be posts from Mrs. Evans or Mrs. Settlemeyer on there sharing information as well, because we are trying to keep everything consistent. You can scroll and see all of the assignments. So like I said, this view to me tends to be a little bit much. So I scroll into the stream just simply looking to see if there's any notes from my teacher. On the side here, you can see upcoming. This will help you with assignments. So if you're looking here, you can see what's assigned to you. So these are items that you'll need to get done. Returned with a grade. So we haven't done any work yet, so no grades. Anything that is from this week will not be graded. So it will not go in the grade book. Then you can also see missing. So if there's assignments that are past due, this is where they'll show up. To get back to the main screen, I can hit this back arrow. And then I can click on the class to get there. The most important part is going to be where you see Classwork. So when we click on Classwork, you're going to see a lot of information. This is where we can communicate to you what we would like you to do. So at the top here, you can see that these are gray. Gray means you don't have to turn anything in, or you've already turned it in. So in this case up here, these are materials. So they will stay at the top because you might need them throughout this whole thing. So I have in here the textbook for 2nd grade, I have Reflex Math, and I have Journey's textbook. So again, I did just see someone wanting to ask a question. If you'd like to ask a question, there's a chat at the bottom when you highlight over your Zoom. So go ahead to the chat and you can type in questions there. From there, you're going to see topics. So our module 1 is like saying week 1. We're going to be calling them modules instead of saying week. So module 1 is like week 1. And you'll be able to see we're going to put the dates. Okay, so you can see module 2 doesn't start until April 6th. So it was already mentioned at the beginning that we are going to give you all of the assignments and then you have a whole week to complete them. So here are assignments for this week. Okay, so this is actually part of 2nd grade's assignment. So if you're in 2nd grade, you're lucky that you'll be seeing these again. If you're not, again, this is just an example for anybody from pre-K to 4th grade. This heading, this topic, again, will be for anybody pre-K to 4th grade. We're going to use the same headings. So anything that is under required assignments is what you need to have done by the end of the week. Then you can also see in module 1 again, enrichment. This is optional. So if you're looking for some more activities to do, or you're not sure, you need a little bit of help on your required assignment, you don't know how to do a page, the enrichment is often where we're going to put videos that might help you with that topic that you don't have to watch if you don't need them. Or they might have things like reflex or freckle on there. So they're going to have some things that you don't necessarily have to do. Then you'll also see a remediation topic, which I don't have on here because I don't have anything in there. So again, this is just a view at my second grade classroom. It doesn't matter what room you're in, so you might not see these exact assignments, but you are going to see these headings. When we click on the assignments, they all might look a little bit different. So when I just first click on it, I can see the directions real quick, and then I can view the assignment. At this time, I need to be able to go into the Google Slides and do the work on the Google Slides, which we'll be making another video to show you how to do that. Once you've done whatever work you need to do on the Google slide, that's when you need to come to this turn in button. Okay, so it's really important that you're making sure you turn in your assignments so we know that you're done. Here is where you can add a private comment just to your teacher. So if something's not working, you can just let them know through that message. If it's not working, first, I highly recommend stepping away for a little bit and trying again, because like I mentioned earlier, things have been crashing. So we just need to be patient with the internet right now. To get back to my assignments, again, I can come to this testing, classwork. So sometimes there's just going to be a link. So on this one, we just wanted you to go read your story. So there's nothing to turn in here, but we're going to just be able to mark it as done. So go ahead, you read your story, and when you're all done, you come back here just to tell me that you actually did it. Again, it's still important that you come back and tell us that you did it so we can mark it as done. Again, I can click back and to classwork to see any of my work. So that is our really basic how-to at this point. Hopefully we'll be making some videos that show you how to do Google Slides or Google Docs that can help. If you end up with any questions, you can make sure that you are contacting your teacher. If it's something about the actual hardware, the actual computer that you're using, a lot of times teachers might not be able to answer those questions, and you can email our IT department at it@gerardsd.org, and they can help you with that. So if you're struggling with that Chromebook, especially our pre-K to second grade teachers, not many of us have experience with those Chromebooks. So you can go ahead and email them. Otherwise, please use ClassDojo to message. That's kind of like almost our texting at this point. And is there anything, Mr. T, Mrs. Gaston, Mrs. Miller, that you'd like to add?
There are a couple things I would like to add. I would like to add that for those of us that are used to using technology, this may appear simple, but for some, this may seem very complicated. And so we're not going to let you fail with this. When Mrs. Bjorn was talking about, remember to click that you turned it in, that it's done. If our students forget to do that, the teachers are going to remind the kids. We will get to phone calls to make sure that they know as we go through this, because it is going to be a learning process. So you need to know that it's okay if you don't know what to do, and that there's a lot of help out there. Again, we talk about ClassDojo, but there's a lot of means of communication. You know, that's convenient because it's an easy way to get to the teacher. But if that's not working for you, Many of you have just emailed me directly or called the school. You can do that as well. And you also need to know that even though we have those timelines at the end of the week, as we're going, if we find that we're having problems, we're going to be flexible with that material until we get comfortable doing it. So please don't worry about that. Something else that wasn't mentioned, and it's also on the stream, it's also part of the classroom, is that the teachers are going to be offering live support times after hours and even on weekends. So you're going to get some information. You're going to get a visual table that's going to tell you, you know, in the evenings or on the weekends when your teachers will be available. If you need them for something, you can shoot them an email and they'll email you back. Or they may say, can you Zoom right now to help you out? And it's not just going to be your child's homeroom teacher. Our Title I interventionists, the guidance counselors, the special teachers, they're all working collaboratively as a team so that we can try to have as many people as possible, as often as possible here to help you, because we realize this is going to be very difficult for everybody. And we know that there are a lot of families out there working and won't be able to help their children during the day. So we want you to know that we're doing an awful lot to help out. And even when it comes to other teachers at that grade level, there's an opportunity there that in second grade, for example, maybe Mrs. Bjorn's not available, maybe Mrs. Coma is. And so you're going to be able to see some things there so that there's an awful lot of people there to help. I'm not sure if Mrs. Miller or Mrs. Gaston have anything else they want to say.
If you're not able to get a hold of teachers or something comes up and it's super important, please message Mr. T or we can get on and walk you through stuff on Zoom as well.
Right. So just to reiterate, please, if you run into a technology problem or you don't maybe understand what the student is supposed to do, reach out to the district right away. We have marshaled a lot of resources to make sure that we can make this as easy for you as possible. We know it's challenging times right now. My own daughter has a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 11-year-old home with her, and she's supposed to be working from home. So I understand the challenges that you're going to be facing. We are here to help you. Don't hesitate to call your principal. We also have set up an IT hotline. The number is 774-5666, then extension 6400. There will be people on the other end of that line to answer questions for you. You should also understand that what you're going to see this week, it won't be how the resources will look and the instruction will look every week. We're just going to start small, learn about the technology, how we're going to do the work, and then you'll see more rigorous assignments in the future. This has all been a team effort. We're going to need parents, students, teachers, administrators, community members to work together to make this happen. But our main goal is to keep all of our children safe, happy, healthy, and learning at home. So bear with us, and stay well, and be strong.
Are there any other questions? You can put them on the chat.